Good day, everyone, and welcome to our ProTraining technical webinar. Today, we are privileged to have Dr. Alvaro Romero from Envu join us. He will discuss the unique features and benefits of Suspend Contact and Residual Aerosol, a new product that will soon be available, along with other products that you see here on your screen. Before we start, I'd like to review a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. Here's a quick review of what you'll see on your screen. To the left of your screen is the viewer where you see the presentation. To the right is the control panel where you can ask questions. The control panel will collapse automatically when not in use. To keep it open, click the View menu and uncheck Auto Hide Control Panel. You have joined this webinar in listen-only mode, which means you are muted. You will have the opportunity to submit text questions by typing them into the questions pane of the control panel. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation, and we will address them during the Q&A session at the end. Please note that we may not be able to answer all questions due to time constraints, but we'll do our best to cover as many as possible. Later today, you will receive a follow-up email containing the recording of this webinar for your reference. With that, let me go ahead and introduce you to today's speaker. Alvaro Romero, Technical Market Development Manager, is one of many at Envu who work to create and test products that tackle customers' toughest challenges. An outstanding urban entomologist and bedbug expert with nearly 25 years of research experience, Alvaro holds a veterinary degree with graduate studies in veterinary and urban entomology. He has used his knowledge to address public health issues caused by arthropod pests and has spent over 12 years as a professor focusing on re-emerging bedbugs and the improved management of these pests. Within the pest management industry, Alvaro has contributed over 30 peer-reviewed manuscripts, 10 trade journal articles, 20 online articles, and many technical presentations. He and the rest of the Envu team are ready to help pest management professionals protect their customers in our communities. Alvaro, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Chris, for the introduction. It is my pleasure to be here, and thanks everybody for attending this webinar. Today, I'm going to walk through why aerosols continue to play a vital role in urban pest control. So we're going to go on the basis about how aerosols have contributed in our pest management programs and how they are very helpful, actually. Also, I'm going to take a closer look at one of our newest innovations, Suspend Contact and Residual Aerosol, how it compared with other industry standards also. Also, I would like to add two cornerstone products that we have, D-Force and CV80, you see there. These are products that are coming from our recent acquisition, FNC. All right, so I want everybody here live with a clear understanding on how, when, and why to use each of these aerosols tools to maximize your pest management results. Okay, one of the most important advantages of aerosol is their ability to reach tight hidden areas. What you see there on the picture are very key urban pests. Scorpions, cockroaches, ants, and I will add also bed bugs. So all these pests, or many of these pests actually, these pests generally remain hidden during daytime. All right, so during the time that pest management professional provide a service, which is during the daytime generally, many times these insects are going to be hidden in these crevices and cracks, unless there is a severe infestation. Then, and many times when we're servicing these places with this type of pest, a liquid spray might not reach necessarily deep in crevices and cracks. So that's what it's very important to have this kind of tool like aerosols. Why aerosol? Because aerosol, the formulation aerosol, has fine particles that can penetrate all these areas. So with that, we guarantee that if there is a insect or animal in that crevices, we're gonna hit it directly. We're gonna make direct contact. So we're talking about high penetration of these insects in those specific places. Take home message here is aerosols are ideal for flushing pests out because if you hit it, you can kill it or you can flush out, and in that way that there is an infestation going on, and that's something that's very useful to complement our program. One other advantage about aerosol is the convenience. These materials are ready to use. You don't need to mix or dilute it. You don't need to make calculations. You don't need to deal with math. And so there is no chance to make a mistake because it's a can. You know, all you need to do is to shake it and spray it, and that's it. Very easy for professional, for consumers who never have used a material like this, an aerosol or pest control product. This is the ideal product because it is very convenient. And let's remember that customers are definitely familiarized with this kind of material in the same aerosol, for example, repellents in aerosol, those are many common, and there is some other material that is not related with for pest control. But again, this is something that is very easy to use, so that's definitely a great advantages. Also, it's very important in many of these aerosols that they have a quick many of them have quick knockdown effect, especially because most of them had pyrethroid synergies. And those materials in the formulation, one is applied on, is going to cause a quick immobilization of the kill of the pest or kill them by contact. This is extremely important because this is going to make a huge impact on customers. If a customer is dealing with a visible or a severe infestation, what a good way to show the impact of these materials when you apply these materials and you can see the insects dead, knocked down and dead right away. So this is definitely extremely important. Has to do with customer satisfaction. People are gonna be very happy.
Alvaro, I lost your audio.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Alvaro?
Hello? Hello?
Folks, it appears we may be having some audio issues. If you could bear with
Okay.
us just a
Can you hear me
moment,
now?
please.
Can you hear me now, Chris?
I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah, I don't
Sorry
know.
about that. I
Yeah,
think it
no,
was
no,
more on my end, and I apologize for that, but I put in
that's fine.
my plan
I
B
was
backup.
I was able to. I covered this since what moment I lost contact.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead and pick up. Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna do this again. This slide, okay?
Yes, that'd be great.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I'm sorry. All right, I was saying that one of the key characteristics of insecticide aerosol is the quick knockdown effect. Why quick knockdown effect? Because many aerosols contain fast-acting ingredients like pyrethroids, but primarily pyrethrin and synergies. So when these materials are deposited on the body of the insect, it's going to quickly immobilize the insect and kill the pest. So this is great because let's see the scenario where you go with a customer having a severe infestation, and then you have a material that is going to kill fast. So you are going to be able to show the customer immediate results. The bug dead there. So that's something that's something great because people are going to be very happy. Having a high pressure with a severe infestations and giving immediate result, that's great. All right, let's move on. We need to consider many times, and this is material that this food handling material that we can use in this material, but there are many sensitive areas where we need to do pest control, like restaurants, school, offices, and hotel rooms. The formulation and the way these materials are designed allow a precise application in this kind of sensitive environments when there is needed discretion and controlled treatment. So there is attachment here of this material, the way this is applied. You see in the pictures that there are some very specific places where we know that the pests can be there because they tend to aggregate in these places. So we have this attachment, these tips here, and we are going to do a precise application. So this is definitely a very important characteristic of many of these aerosol, because it controls definitely supports compliance with safety and hygiene standard. That's something that is extremely important. Now, many or some formulations include residual insecticides, and that's going to be very important, especially when we are dealing with pests. As I mentioned early in the talk, that there are many pests that during the daytime they are hidden, and these insects or animals, they emerge during nighttime. So in these particular cases, we want to put a material there, especially in crevices and cracks, where they emerge during nighttime, and we put that material, which are an active ingredient with a residual insecticide. The animal or insect is going to encounter that dry residue, okay, and it's going to be killed. So that's going to be extremely important. These materials, this aerosol with these residual insecticides, is going to remain there, toxic to the insect for several days. And this is very important for those insects that emerge and during nighttime. And also it's very important when we have, for example, an infestation of peridomestic cockroaches, for example. These peridomestic cockroaches many times put a lot of pressure on around our peridomestic areas. So if we strategically apply these materials in crevices and cracks, following the label, where places where we know that they hide, and we identify these spots during the inspection, we put these materials, and those peridomestic cockroaches, talking about Turkestan cockroaches, Oriental cockroaches, American cockroaches, scorpions, if we put these materials strategically in those places, they're going to encounter a residue in those specific places, and we're going to kill them. That's why we need residual insecticides, and this is one of the characteristics of many formulations. Here is admit our new product, Suspend Contact Residual Aerosol. This product meets all these characteristics that I'll be talking about, because deliver both immediate impact and long-lasting control with the residual action. This is Suspend Control Aerosol, our new product. We launched this material, and from now on, I'm going to talk about Suspend Aerosol. This material is very reliable, very effective, because whenever you had an infestation, this is the material that you want to use to kill the infestation, and also because of the characteristic of this type of aerosol, the way they penetrate crevices and cracks, you can put this material where you need to put these materials to eliminate primarily all those pests that hide in crevices and cracks. Why Suspend Contact Residual Aerosol? Well, it has contact quick knockdown effect and also residual action. And this is due for two active ingredients. And one of those is pyrethrin, and we know that pyrethrin has a quick action on the insect a quick knockdown, and the long-lasting residual effectiveness is caused by deltamethrin. This is an active ingredient, well-known. Many people familiarized with this active ingredient. You can find deltamethrin in Suspend Polisson, Suspend SC, DeltaGuard, and this is a trusted active ingredient that has been used for many years. So that's why we call this Suspend Contact Residual Aerosol, due primarily for these two active ingredients included in the formulation, and also meet all the characteristics that I mentioned before of the convenience. This product is easy to use. Again, it's already mixed. There is no possibility of mixing error. And there is some other characteristic that people definitely want to have, like no staining, no greasy residue, no oily residue, no unpleasant odor, even if it's applied in an indoor area. So we had here a product that is not going to have this kind of undesirable properties. This type of materials have, again, fast-acting action and also residual action. That's what we say that the can that you are seeing is like having two products in one solution. And we know that there is information. I'm going to show information that the quick action is completed is done in 30 seconds, and long residual action also. There is a long residual action of this material, has been demonstrated in German cockroaches and ants. And again, this is very important to have, especially in those situations when we have persistent pressure of the pest, and we want to have that residual deposit there in case that there is a rain invasion. And that's going to be very important because this material is going to keep at bay the rain-invading insects. So we don't need to reapply this material in those particular cases because of long residual action. There is two sizes, 17 ounces and 13.5 ounces. Very convenient if there is a severe infestation and you need to apply in a broad area. Well, you go with a larger can, or if it's an occasional application that you don't need that much, you go with a smaller can of Suspend Contact and Residual Aerosol. How our Suspend Contact Residual Aerosol is comparable with some other aerosol, and I'm comparing here our Suspend Contact Residual Aerosol with two common aerosols in the market. And this is a laboratory study has been done with German cockroaches. Again, this product has on the label many pests, but I'm going to show here the result with direct spray to German cockroaches using 1 second burst. So here what we have done is to have a group of cockroaches and spray those cockroaches for 1 second, and then follow up knockdown and mortality over time. And we follow up for 120 seconds. That means 2 minutes, right? So notice that within the first 30 seconds, about 30% of the cockroaches were knocked down, and they were far better than these two other competitors. The ones that you had in the red line, they was around 23% and 23%, and also with this PT565, there was no knockdown. So notice that the group that was sprayed with Suspend Contact Residual Aerosol always have a high knockdown. So that's something that, of course, stand out with the other product. And in 2 minutes, you see that most of the cockroaches were knocked down and most of them were dead. That's going to be a speed of mortality. It's very important because, again, we can see right there that the insect is dead and doesn't have the chance to hide, go back to the harborage or go somewhere else, and eventually recover. So we have material that is going to be killing much faster than these two other competitors. This material has on the label indoor and outdoor pests, and it can be used on, as you can imagine, a number of key urban pests. I already mentioned our flushing activity, killing activity, residual, knockdown, kill by contact, but let's focus now on those key urban pests that can control our suspend contact residual aerosol, and we're talking about cockroaches. We had excellent data on cockroaches, different type of cockroaches, German cockroaches, American cockroaches. That's something that we proved that they're very effective against this insect. With the spiders, also spiders, there are many spiders, very important spiders here and here in New Mexico, Las Cruces, and we have a number of spiders, very important regionally, and we are collecting data. Also, our people out there are telling us that these materials are very effective against spiders. Here, I had a collaborator here in 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 New Mexico. I think she's attending this web seminar. We're going to be starting some essays with some specific spider that we have. Scorpion. The scorpion is one of those animals very difficult to kill. I'm pretty sure many of you agree with me, especially the Arizona bark scorpion. We already have data on the effect of suspend contact aerosol. Arizona bark scorpions, very common, very important here in Arizona in the Southwest. Ants, also Argentinian ants is a very resilient ants, and it works excellent against ants. In the case of ticks, a number of ticks, number of essays that kill ticks, that you know how important they are because they are vector of diseases, flies, house flies, and many other flies that we had excellent data that show that is very effective. And also other invasive insects, intruders, seasonal insects, let's say like ladybugs and some other insects. So this is a short list of pests that are controlled effectively with suspend contact aerosol. And there are many more other pests. Now, I would like at this point finish up this part with the suspend contact aerosol playing a video. So Chris, whenever you want.
Yes, folks, bear with me as I tee up the video for you to view. All right, folks, now bear with me just a moment while I make Alvaro the presenter again. All right, Alvaro, you should be able to pick it up from here.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So this video summarizes all. I think that you see where this material can be placed, how it's applied, and I think that again, take a look at this wonderful product because like the last statement, that the phrase that my coworker Maria Miller say, two products in one can. So that's something really amazing and very versatile, very flexible in case that you need to have, again, you need to have a quick knockdown, you had a severe infestation for clean out, and then you need to that this material keep working. So leaving a residual material there like deltamethrin is going to keep a bait of the insects or arthropods, scorpions that eventually reinvade these areas. Now, let's switch the gear a little bit and let's talk about the most trusted and widely used aerosol in pest professional. And I am specifically talking about something that you guys have seen a lot, the CV80 and D-Force. These are the two aerosols that come from our new acquisition and new acquisition from FNC. These products, especially the CV80, is considered the gold standard for flushing and contact kill, and remains a go-to tool for technicians during cleanouts and high-pressure infestations. This material, again, this is well known, and basically due to the formulation it has a combination of pyrethrin and synergies. You see here the ratio pyrethrin and ratio of pyrethrin 8:1 with the synergies, and this is the one that's going to provide the flushing activity and the quick knockdown, and also has very interesting characteristics, has to do with the acetone free, and and all those is free of all those chemicals that are ozone depleting substances as compounds that are concerning now in this day. So definitely it has a excellent formulation, has a dual spray action for convenient broadcast, spot or cracks and crevice application. So you are gonna see in the next label the can and the different attachment that they have. All right, is labeled for indoor flea and bedbug control, including mattress application. So you can apply this material in, let's say, in the bed of a dog. If you are dealing with a flea infestation, this is the material that you can use, and you are dealing with a bedbug infestation, and you can provide a quick knockdown of bed bugs. This is also a good product to show immediate results. What a better way to convince or to satisfy customers to leave the place and show that there are most of the bugs that are in the stations are already dead. What you see on the right is data that we have produced comparing both of them, and with the brown marmoset stink bug. This is, a seasonal pest and very important pest that is on the label of these materials. And notice that group of these stink bug that they were sprayed for 1 second, they die pretty much within 20 minutes. Around 100% of them die. So this is the kind of material that definitely can kill immediately this type of bugs. And when they are in the domestic areas, if we apply in crevices, crack where we know this bug hide, well, we're gonna hit them and we will kill them. Look, in 25 minutes, all the bugs were dead. So this is an excellent product to try. This is the can, do you see? And here I show in this table the straw up and down with different characteristics. And notice that it has only one size. And when you have the straw up, it's gonna have 6 inches diameter delivery cycle if you put the can 2 feet away from the surface. And when the straw is down, it's gonna give you 10-inch cone of delivery at 2 feet. So They have this versatility in the case. It's gonna depend where you are applying this material. If there is crevices and cracks and very tight, well, use the straw up and then you are gonna deliver the amount of aerosol that you need to control those insects there. CV80, it can be used in residual, in residential areas, industrial, food handling establishment. Target pests I mentioned, bedbugs, cockroaches, spiders, stinging wasps. This is an excellent material, and particularly for controlling this type of wasp. And there are more than 30 additional species of pests that they can be controlled with this aerosol. So also I recommend take a look at this material, try, because again, this is a brand that has been well known for many years. The last one that I want to talk about is the D-Force, and D-Force has contained only deltametrin, and I have mentioned the deltametrin has long residual action, and this is the kind of material that's going to provide long residual, long-lasting effect up to 8 weeks. Has been demonstrated in very different instances, has very broad spectrum dual spray action for spot, for convenience for spot and cracks and crevices application. Also can be used in food handling establishment. Pretty much the same characteristic that the CV80 and suspend contact residual aerosol, and a number of pests that more than 40 pests, including key pests like ants, cockroaches, spiders, and sting bugs. I would like to to show this chart where it show the different aerosol solution that we have in urban pests by Envu. And I had talked a lot about suspend contact residual aerosol, which is a new product which had a quick knockdown action and residual action due for the active ingredients, and that include pyretrins and deltametrin. And this is used for clean out, for severe infestation. We want to make a quick impact in the population. This is the material to use because again has pyrethroids, and also the material, the deltametrin is gonna keep working because of the residual action it has, and anything that's gonna reinvade might be killed. There's a number of pests there. And then we have CV80, and notice that it has piperonyl butoxide and pyretrins. We do not expect, and you should not expect, residual action with this material. This is aerosol for flushing and knockdown and impact immediately. So this is something that they think in particular cases where you see that this infestation is severe and there is no very likely that it has reinvasion, and you don't care very much about leaving a residual action because probably it's an occasional infestation, and so this will be the best option. And then we have D-Force, we have deltametrin, and this is the other product, the other option that you have with all the characteristics that they have in terms of target pests and food handling and all that. But this primarily give residual action. Yes, it has knockdown effect, but we are using, or we want to use this material in places where the infestation, the pressure is not really high at the very beginning, on there is no a severe infestation, okay? But you want to guarantee a residue there that is ready whenever a pest come in. All right. So we had a variety here of formulation you can choose based on your needs, based on the situation. You do the inspection and you pretty much estimate the size of the infestation, the places where you want to play, and then you set up a program and you have here 3 options to choose. All right. So that's pretty much what I want to say. Here I have resources. In this QR, you're going to have more information about each product. So please take a look and take a look this QR. Chris is saying that it's going to be recorded, this presentation. You can go back and take a look if you don't have the chance now to check this QR. A reminder, the summer aerosol promotion is running from July 1st to August 31st. Okay, so please don't forget those dates. With that, I'm I'm done. So very please let me know if you have questions. I'll be very ready to try to answer all your questions. Thank you.
Alvaro, thank you for presenting such great informative information. We'll now begin answering the questions that were submitted during the presentation. And remember, folks, you can still submit your questions through the questions pane. So here's a question for you, Alvaro, asking, how long does the residual control of Suspend last against German cockroaches and Argentinians for the both of those two pests?
German cockroaches?
Yes, and Argentinians.
Argentina, okay. In German cockroaches, this is especially has been demonstrated in no porous material can last up to 18 months. Again, this is something that has been done in the lab, and when we have these materials with these materials out there, we need to consider probably porous material that might reduce the lasting effect. That we need to be aware of that. We need to consider also environmental factors. Has to do with probably you get some water, some humidity. So in the lab has been demonstrated up to 18 months, but again, we should expect a less residual action when the supply is out there. As far as Argentinian, and this is that's definitely a pest that we see that is affected by these dry residues, and has been also demonstrated that we can kill up to 18 months with this with suspend contact aerosol.
Very good. Looks like we only have one other question that's come in. See, you were so thorough in your presentation, but this next question's asking, what are two key benefits of Suspend's formulation when applied to cracks and crevices?
That they have quick knockdown. If the pest management professional have an aggregation, I'm gonna be very specific. Let's say an aggregation with bed bugs. Sometimes bed bugs, sometimes not many times, they hide in crevices and cracks, especially in very complex structures. Let's talk about box springs. Box spring, I always say, are the heaven for bed bugs. Because the material, because is wood, and also there are, imagine, many crevices, cracks, and they love that place. So, and it's a very complex structure, and many crevices, and they can hide there. So this material with the penetration, the high penetration, quick knockdown, so that's gonna, whatever it hits is gonna kill. And that's something that again we want to have. Also, sometimes the bugs are very deep in the structures and they don't directly are hit by the aerosol, but still they sense the material somehow, sense the material, and they come out. And then these bugs that is running like crazy, because it's being flushed out from that, might come out and step on liquid spray that we had sprayed previously, or maybe an insecticide does. So flushing is a very desirable thing that we want in this material, because we made the insect get out from those crevices and cracks, and as they leave those places, they are going to start walking, crawling around areas that we have been treated with some other materials, like a liquid spray, like template, for example, or it might go and step on areas where we have insecticide dust. And a typical example that I can mention at this point here is template dust. Also, the second benefit and the big advantage of suspend aerosol, as I have mentioned, is the residual action. Those crevices and cracks, when we treat them, those are going to be treated, that delta metric is going to be there. If we're talking about indoor environments, that deposit is going to be, let's say, not viable, but it's going to be active there for a long time. And whenever those bugs that were deep in the structures and they come out at night to eat, to take a blood meal, to bite a person, they are going to get in contact with this material. So that are the two main benefits of suspend contact and residual aerosol.
Perfect. Thank you for that detailed answer. So folks, with that, I want to thank you for attending today's webinar. Later today, you'll receive a follow-up email with a short survey and the recording of today's session. We would appreciate your sharing your feedback. On behalf of our speaker and Veseris, we sincerely thank you for choosing to spend your time with us today. Have a great rest of your day and make sure to check out that promotion next month. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.